Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Black Ops 6 beta video. This one's going to be a little bit different because with the first weekend kind of coming to an end, I'm going to go over some things that I'm thinking need to be changed, you know what I mean? And the things that were very good that I was pleased with throughout this entire beta. But with that, I am particularly excited about weekend number 2. There are some things that are coming that I will address in the next video that I release, whether it's going to be later today or tomorrow, whenever it may come out. But this next weekend, we're going to be expecting a couple of things. So if you want to go ahead and smash that like button, go ahead and subscribe so that you are kept up to date with all these videos. I'm going to be releasing a bunch of Black Ops 6 content when the game fully releases. So stay tuned for all of that. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing that I would fix is going to be the loading screen. There's a flashing visual glitch after the action, after action, particularly. It was like flickering. It's not meant to be there. It's not good, especially for particular reasons, like people that are not expecting it that may have seizures. But if you're going to have seizures, you probably shouldn't be playing the game. The second thing, doors that are not populating correctly. This was particularly on Skyline up in the little office area with the security doors. I was able to see through them. I was able to shoot and everything, but I could not break anything. The glass was not there. I was not able to break it, and I could not move through it. And then after that, it had populated. That was in the first video that I released on the beta, if you want to go check it out. Guns getting stuck canted. This was particularly, I believe, after I was eyeing off a corner, kind of how they added that mechanic, you know, leaning to the side a little bit around a corner without actually mounting. But then my gun got stuck like that. There's another video on FaZe Jev's video where you can see his gun was also glitched out. But those are all the visual glitches kind of that I've seen. There's nothing else really crazy. The next thing that I would say needs to be fixed, absolutely 100% needs to be fixed, is spawns. The spawns need to get either spread further apart or they need to have a higher chance of spawning somewhere else. Spawning on top of the enemy team and the enemy team spawning on top of me, like, yeah, I guess once we learn spawns on maps, it'll be good for pub stomping and everything, kind of like Modern Warfare 2 when it was first released way back on the Xbox 360, and Modern Warfare 3 as well. But I feel like the chance to flip spawns still needs to be higher up. I think that they need to increase the amount of health or decrease TTK of some sort of way, right? Decreasing damage, DPS on these guns, because I feel like you just die way too fast. In my opinion, it makes the game a little bit less fun to be able to, you know, that's when things really start popping off, right? It's whenever you start getting shot at, and then you can turn around, turn on somebody, and just ruin them, right? Like, that makes for some insane clips, some fun clips, but like the TTK does not allow that in this game. I haven't experienced this in the past couple of days, but on the first day especially, I have been getting a ridiculous amount of frame drops out of nowhere without anything really particularly happening. So, for example, like, I'd just be playing a regular game, there's no kill streaks, there's no grenades, no bombs, no explosions, nothing crazy, and then my frames would just drop. So that would need to be fixed. I think that's probably number one, because performance means everything, right? I think that there are some guns that particularly need to be buffed, right? The XM4, the PDW are definitely number one on my list for that. They need to either have higher recoil, less damage, slower rate of fire. Their DPS is way too high, right? That's the only thing that people are using. Those are the only two guns that people use. And it's understandable why. Because they're the best fucking guns in the beta right now. Super unbalanced. With talking about guns, I think that snipers need to be buffed. Whether it's fixing the amount of sway you get when you first go in, whether it's reducing the amount of time it takes to ADS, or reducing the amount of flinch that you get when you're getting shot at. Because the fact that I'm losing gunfights at long range to a fucking submachine gun is absolutely wild. Like, the only way to play the game is to be holding corners where you have their full body and you just sit there and wait. That's the only way to play with snipers until you get the attachments like that reduce flinch. Like even the quick draw grip doesn't really change that much on either of these snipers. It's impossible to be consistent with these. I also don't like that you can't shoot and jump at the same time. That's just kind of annoying. Because, you know, even though it's like a arcadey game, right? You should be able to do that. I also think the guns should have a little bit less of a damage drop off when it comes to shooting at range. The range drops exponentially after what seems to be like 20 meters, right? I know it's not supposed to be accurate, right? Like I'm saying, jumping and shooting and all that mess. But the fact that whenever I go from 20 to 30 meters, it goes from 4 to 10 bullets to kill somebody. That's just fucking insane. Like that's absolutely insane. So that concludes everything that I don't particularly like. So I'm going to roll into the things that I was impressed with. So the first thing is going to be the flow of the game. The flow of the game was much smoother and engaging than any Call of Duty, in my opinion, for the past 6 years. There's almost no point in time to where I'm not engaged with the enemy or I'm on an objective. And I think that a massive reason that has to do with it is because of the Omni movement. So that's going to be my next point that I hit on. Omni movement has changed the entire flow and the game as a whole and the dynamic of it, of Call of Duty, right? I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4, right? A long time, however long ago that was. But now Call of Duty is definitely seeming like more of like an action hero shooter type of game with Omni movement, being able to dive in any direction, being able to slide in any direction. I think it needs a little bit of tweaks because sometimes I won't really be running and then I'll slide, and I've slid off the map multiple times or dove off the map multiple times. But it does definitely make the game less chunky, right? It definitely makes things more challenging, like I'm saying, like I'm stating. But I think that once it gets mastered, it can make for some very, very good clips and some very, very good gunfights. And it'll be a very good tool to use once it's mastered, right? Then unless they add shooting and jumping back, this is really the best that we got. I was very impressed with hit registration, minus the one time that I was definitely on the person and it didn't hit with my sniper. That's probably just like the client side fucking network bullshit. But I was very pleased with everything. There was not really a time that I didn't feel like my shots were not registering. It was just, I don't know. That's something that's very rare for a game that is 2 months away from release to be that decent with registering hitboxes, especially because now we have shoulders, arms, torso, legs, and head hitboxes. It's no longer just torso, head, and legs. I also do like the weapon progression. Now, it is very, very slow, but I do enjoy it. They have made it very easy to unlock attachments, and with the pros and cons being that they show, I feel like they actually translate to what is in game. Like the gameplay itself, you can feel the attachments and what they are saying that they do. I also enjoy being able to have one single build of a gun, and then whenever I select that gun again on a class, it goes back to being the same fucking gun. That's pretty cool. And being able to alter it from class to class is pretty neat. I think probably one of the biggest things for me as well, right? This is gonna be the last point. One of the biggest things for me is the HUD. Okay. Changing the HUD, although I kept it the same, right, is a huge quality of life feature that will be utilized by many competitive teams, competitive players, and even new players. Being able to make yourself comfortable with the screen and intake as much information as quickly as possible makes this game feel easier, especially with a game that has the pacing of this. Being able to change maybe from game to game, right? Like for a new player that has come from another shooter, first-person shooter, or even has just never played Call of Duty, never played a first-person shooter before, I think that this makes for such a significantly easier time to get used to it, especially with the pacing of the game. That's gonna conclude everything, right? Let me know what you guys think. right? I think that the beta has been fun. I think it's been a good time. I have enjoyed playing it, and I think that I am addicted to this Call of Duty, which is just nothing really to say about the past, 6-7 years, because I have not felt the want to play it. But this one is definitely something. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and smash that like button if you did. Let me know what you think of these Call of Duty coming out, and stay tuned for more. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, but I'll catch you guys on the next video.
Okay, love you. Bye.